All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to look at an AI project so ambitious, it's trying to solve a problem that has stumped educators for like 40 years. It's called SMARTA, and it's asking a pretty wild question.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. What if every single student had their own personal tutor, a dedicated guide just for them for their unique learning journey? It sounds like pure fantasy, right? But that's the exact question behind the tech we're diving into today. So, to really get why this idea is such a big deal, we need to rewind the clock. About 40 years to a classic challenge in education, the 2 sigma problem. So way back in 1984, a researcher named Benjamin Bloom, he found something pretty incredible. He discovered that an average student, if you give them a personal tutor, suddenly performs better than 98% of the other students in a regular classroom. That massive leap? Well, that's what 2 sigma, or 2 standard deviations, really means. I mean, look at that gap. It's just staggering. The results from a typical classroom just pale in comparison to what's possible with one-on-one help. And for decades, closing that gap, it seemed totally impossible. The cost, the logistics of getting every single student a personal tutor, it was just, out of the question. And this is why it's so hard. The reality of any classroom is that it's just full of different needs. You've got the high achiever who's bored out of their mind. Then there's the student in the middle who just needs to hear something explained in a slightly different way. And then you have someone who needs things to slow way, way down. Even the absolute best teacher in the world can't be 3 different people at the same time.
So for 40 years, this problem just kind of sat there, unsolved. But now, with the arrival of generative AI, well, suddenly there's a new way forward. And that brings us right to the SMARTA project. It's a brand new attempt to finally crack this thing.
And hey, this isn't just some idea on a whiteboard. Since 2023, over 5,000 students at a university in Germany have been using these AI assistants. We're talking more than 15,000 chat conversations. This is real. It's happening at scale right now. Okay, so the secret sauce here is how deeply SMARTA is integrated. It plugs right into the university's main system. And this lets it do 2 really critical things. First, it uses your actual course data to make the conversations personal, and it does it securely. And second, it doesn't just sit there waiting for you. It can actually reach out to you when it thinks you might need a hand. But what's really interesting is that SMARTA's approach is different. You don't just get one generic chatbot, oh no. You get a whole team of 3 different AI specialists, and each one has its own unique personality and job. So let's meet them. All right, first up, we've got Alix, the affirmative life impact expert. Now, Alix isn't here to teach you calculus. Its only job is to be your empathetic supporter, to help you stay motivated and just check in on how you're doing. Yeah, just like that quote says, Alix has this really informal, supportive vibe, almost like a friend checking in. It's all about boosting your motivation, helping you fight procrastination, and just being an easy-to-reach resource when you're totally overwhelmed. It can even point you to human support if you need it. Okay, next on the team is Robyn, the reflective overview by your notions. Robyn's job is completely different. It's not going to cheer you on. Instead, Robyn is there to make you think. To think deeper and more critically about what you're actually learning. So Robyn uses what's called the Socratic method. It's not trying to push you in a certain direction. It just asks these really probing questions. It's designed to challenge your assumptions, get you to look at things from a totally new angle. And what's really fascinating is that even though students use Alix more often, the conversations they have with Robyn, they're way longer on average. And last but not least, we have Melly, mentored education with logical learning yield. So if Alix is the friend and Robyn is the philosopher, then Melly is the super focused, no-nonsense study coach. And this whole team approach, that's really the core idea here. Learning isn't just about memorizing facts. It's also about your mindset and how you think. Melly is all business. Very formal, very structured. It bases every single conversation on your actual course materials. It literally pulls from your module handbook to create practice quizzes or even run you through a mock oral exam. It's a direct, straight-to-the-point study tool.
Okay, so you've got this awesome team of AI specialists.
But you might be wondering, how do they know what to talk about with you specifically? And maybe more importantly, how do they keep an eye on how well it's working without, reading your private chats?
Well, the way it gets personalized is actually pretty straightforward. The system securely grabs some context from your course handbook. It then feeds that info to the AI to help guide the chat. And get this, with some new upgrades, it can now remember your past conversations, which creates this ongoing learning journey, just like a real human tutor would. This leads to a really clever solution for a tricky problem. How do you track success while keeping things private? The answer is nobody reads the chats at all. Instead, they use this framework called Muse, which analyzes the change in a student's mood from the beginning of a chat to the end. So a motivation reboot, for instance, that just means the student started out feeling negative and ended up positive. They also track the not-so-good outcomes, like a stagnation spiral where someone's mood doesn't get any better. This lets them improve the AI without ever peeking into the actual conversation. Super smart. So what all this points to is that we might be at a real turning point here, where that old nagging problem is finally becoming a brand new, scalable opportunity. Looking at this timeline really puts the whole journey into perspective. You go from Bloom's discovery back in '84 through all those kind of clunky, disappointing chatbots we saw just a few years ago, and the whole problem just seemed impossible to solve. But now, with SMARTA launching, powerful generative AI is suddenly making personalized tutoring for everyone seem, well, actually possible. And really, that's the whole ballgame. The hope is that by using AI to give students this mix of personalized, motivational, and deep thinking support, we can finally close that massive performance gap. So the question isn't about the problem anymore. It's about the potential of turning this into the 2 Sigma opportunity for every single student.